Hey everybody, I'm Tim here with Dunbarton's Dave Lafferty, and you're watching Cigars Daily. Hey, get a lot more out of this video when you watch it on Rumble and when you join the community on Cigars Daily Plus. Thank you for being with me here today, Lafferty.
Thank you for having me here.
I want to tell you guys about when I get to work with Dunbarton, I don't call Steve Saka. I don't email Steve Saka. I don't message him. I call Lafferty. Lafferty is the guy that has the answers to the questions that I need answered. And today I want to take you guys inside this part of the cigar industry as much as I can. This part of the cigar industry that so many people talk to me about, because what I hear so frequently, Dave, is this. I literally got an email today from a guy, a fellow, who said, Tim, I would like to begin my career in the cigar industry. I'd like to start at Cigars Daily. What do I do? How do I begin? And I don't think he fully knows what he's asking for, because this industry is a logistical nightmare. It's a regulatory travesty, and the consumers and the retailers are like, we're coming out of the same basket of spoiled eggs.
You are underselling it, sir. You have churched that up for the community right there of what it is truly like.
Yes.
I break those hearts about 10 times a week because we have a contact form on the website, and you reach out to the nice people in the office, and it gets forwarded to me, and I'm like, I'll deal with it.
Let me help you.
I will let them know.
So my questions to you begin with a couple of things. Number one, your position in cigars is more or less unique, and I'll frame it out this way. A lot of people have a job at a brand, that they do a thing. You wear many different hats. You also uniquely work with the guy who is sort of like savant style.
The man that walks behind the man that whispers in the man's ear.
Yes. He knows every part of this industry like really well, and like, they say if you find somebody who's good at all these different things, don't ever hire them, because they typically aren't a big team player. And if you follow Saka, you know, he's Saka. He's a great guy, powerfully good at what he does, and also has an opinion that comes out of his mouth the second that he has it sometimes. So I want to break some of this down for you, what it's like for you working with Steve Saka, and some of the stuff that you've seen and experienced in this world, especially as it comes to Dunbarton being one of the hottest, fastest growing cigar making brands in the industry.
The 10-year overnight success story, sir.
Just one quick decade, and
That's
here
right.
you are.
In the blink of an eye.
So how did you end up here? Give us that.
Oh, man. Steve and I have worked together in some capacity on and off for almost 20 years now. It's back in the old days of Drew Estate, when he was a president of Drew Estate. I started as the New England rep, handling New England and upstate and western New York. And eventually the following year became the regional manager to manage the sales force east of the Mississippi, and then promoted up and up and up, and handled some of the smaller, more wholesale accounts, and then some of the web catalog accounts, and eventually left as the director of national accounts.
And one question as you continue here, for the guys who are really chomping at the bit to do this, what was it about you that caused you to like boom, 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 jump up like that and continue to move forward?
I raised my hand. Intellectual curiosity. When you're at a company and you actually have an interest in different aspects of it and say, I'd like to be involved in this. I want to know about the tobacco. I'd like to see this stuff in the fields and how this works and where it's at, and understanding different aspects. And you ask the question, and you're smart enough to then deliver and do it, and you have the work ethic to do it.
Oh, yeah,
more things wind up on your plate.
There's that
The
too.
problem is a lot of times you get voluntold the things that you're going to do from then on in.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes you just shut your mouth and stand in the corner and do your own little job and have a quality of life, and be able to spend time with your family, as opposed to, hey, hop on a plane and go handle this, go deal with that. Yes, there's a lot of that.
So that was through Drew Estate through which year?
I started in 2007.
2007.
And then I was there for 11 years.
Okay, so 2018.
18. Yep.
And then how did you get connected with Dunbarton? How did you reconnect with Steve?
So then I segued in. I went from Drew Estate to Nat Sherman, and I went to be the executive director over at Nat Sherman. I live in New York. It's a New York company. I knew all the guys that were over there for a long time, knew the brand, was able to have quality of life, spend time with the family, do things that were local and not always on a plane.
I remember that.
It's a weird thing. Dinner?
I remember that.
At your own kitchen table? Yeah. It's so bizarre. I mean, we don't have a Portillo's back home. It's just I was able to get that in, so it's nice to come here to Phoenix.
Yeah.
And but then did that for almost a year and reconnected with Steve. And Nat Sherman was sort of winding things down. The parent company Altria had done a big investment in Juul and cannabis company, and they were doing a big reduction in force and things like that. And
they were like, "What's the cigar thing? Hold on a second.
Right. We have this other stuff going on.
Sweet.
Right. Look at this.
It makes this thing called money. It's amazing.
Yeah. And Steve had reached out previously, and I said, "Hey, you want to finish that conversation we started a couple weeks ago?" And came on board. It's been probably close to 7 years now.
So I know Lafferty as the guy in the industry who will answer the phone, respond to my text messages, has the answers, get stuff done. For where you've landed with Dunbarton, now you're like Steve's right. I don't want to say right hand number two. What's your official title? What's the
VP of Sales?
VP of Sales.
Yes.
So
everything sales related ladders up to me. I don't know. It's like I like to say it.
Ladders feels really good.
Right, exactly.
Because everything rolls downhill from the
right. Exactly. Yes.
Or
correct.
I'm sure it doesn't feel that way because really everything rolls uphill to you. I'm sure that there's a lot that. Well, I should say this. I know there's a lot that goes right with Dunbarton. I know that for this reason. Of all of the vendors that I have experience with, Dunbarton is the number one vendor that I can count on to do basically everything right without issues. They don't ship the wrong cigars. Everything's labeled right. The boxes all have the shipping, the packing, list for the box.
I personally can take no credit for that whatsoever. That is our back office.
That
is Cindy Saka in charge of the fiefdom that is the Dunbarton office and the support team that's in the office and the warehouse staff to make sure we all make mistakes. It happens. Mistakes happen.
Of course.
It's how you handle those mistakes. If you call and say, hey, by the way, I just got these Solita Reds instead of the Brulee Blue, and here's what it is, and okay, let's send a call tag. Let's get it taken care of. Let's get it processed through, and not to drag you through it. You compete on service. You try and we're a small family company. It is very much all hands on deck with everyone in the company. So it's how you handle these situations, and you have to be the best vendor possible. I mean, not to my competition out there. You guys can continue to suck. Please do the things that you do.
Do it the way
God bless you. I appreciate it. My children, thank you. But yeah, just try to be the best vendor possible. It is truly trying to live by the golden rule.
So I'd like to know from you, what's one thing about the job you just love, absolutely love, and what's one of the most challenging parts of this that, I'll say this, I tell people this all the time, the cigar industry doesn't have a ton of business people in it. Like the proposition you're talking about of do good on service, this is foreign to a lot of people. And to frame this up for you guys, in the cigar world, in many ways, on the manufacturing side, you have a lot of people who are multi-generational Latin American farmers. Mm-hmm. And on the retail side in America, you've got a lot of guys that are retired hobbyists. They run their shop in the black so that them and their wives don't have a murder-suicide situation going on. It's like a different kind of industry. So what are the parts of this
it's a conversation that I have. I spend so much time in this job trying to talk people out of opening a shop. Because they don't belong in the business, because they don't understand business. Not just the cigar business. They don't understand business at all.
Yes.
And the response that I get, they're usually retired police, fire, or military, and they'll say to me, worst thing that happens, I smoke cigars at cost. They said, no. That's one of the best things that can happen. The worst thing that happens is you piss away your pension money, your wife leaves you, you blow your brains out of your head in the shop. That's the worst thing that happens. Smoking cigars at cost is one of the best things that can happen.
Yes.
It is a very difficult business to be in, and it's almost like a Kids in the Hall skit. There was a Kids in the Hall skit one time that I have to find where it says garage band, rock band that wants to make it. They're trying to sell their soul to the devil, and he won't take it. And they're like, and then we make it? No, you never make it. You will never. And then we make it. And you just try and talk. And I said, I don't want to talk people out of their dreams, but it segues back to what you asked earlier. I say to people, if I can't talk you out of opening a shop, what I can say to you is go work in a legitimate cigar shop, a real legitimate cigar shop. Treat that like it is your master's degree or your PhD in understanding on how to operate a cigar shop while you're doing it with someone else's money. And you understand, most importantly, how to pay your taxes, what payroll looks like, how to deal with employees, how to deal with the vendors. And if you can do this for a couple of years and get to know it, you will then decide whether you really want to do this or not. If your response to me is, I can't afford to work in a cigar shop as an employee that I can guarantee to you, you cannot afford to open a cigar shop. Because you will not take any money out of that shop for at least 3 years.
Yes.
You are constantly reinvesting your money. It is just so much more difficult than what people think that it's going to be.
Amen. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. That was like the sermon of sermons that you need to hear if you're thinking about doing this. And true to form, exactly what you said is exactly how I started in this industry. I needed a job desperately, so I got a part-time job at a cigar shop. I raised up, and literally on the dime of a guy who owned the company was in prison for attempted murder for 2 years. I got to run the company and make all kinds of mistakes on his dime, but I got an Ivy League education in tobacco, and that's what brought me along. It was a really huge opportunity, but truthfully, a rare one.
Very much so.
Doesn't exist a lot.
Incredibly difficult.
And you got to sort of be willing to jump in where you can. For you now, what is the most rewarding part of doing this? I mean, you've fairly warned people. So what do you love about this still?
I still have a passion for the cigars. I'm still a cigar head at heart. I love the new projects. I love getting involved with things. But I do also warn people to not, if cigars, people are all the time, oh man, I'd love to be in the cigar business. I said, why? They're like, I love cigars. I said, if you love cigars, stay out of the cigar business.
Yes.
I said, just get a job that pays you good money and hang out in a shop and enjoy cigars. Nobody wants to see how their sausage is made. They just want to enjoy sausage. Like, if this is a business and an entity that makes you happy and you can relieve your stress, don't make it your stressor. Don't make it the thing that you live and die on turns and your numbers of where it's going to be. And you got to deal with a guy like me who's pressing your shirt because things haven't been done properly in your numbers. And how come you haven't gotten your placements? And how come this back order isn't taken care of? Like, that is just what it is. You just want to enjoy that stuff. So I still enjoy the cigars themselves. I'm a sales guy at heart too. I love having deals. I love getting out. I love helping and work with smart shops that get it and watching them engage. I tell a lot of companies, like a lot of bigger web catalog type entities. My catchphrase with them is like, I'm never going to ask you to be my rainmaker because we don't offer you the opportunities. We don't give you the deep discount. We don't do the programming. We don't do all the other things that sort of work and what makes your business work. I'm just asking you to keep it in stock. So when the person who's in the middle of nowhere that doesn't have a shop within 3 hours drive from them is looking for it, treat my product right, get it to them right, and they can get the right Dunbarton experience. And I'm never going to come to you and be like, how come I wanted you to be my rainmaker? How come you didn't do more business? We didn't do more business because I didn't give you the levers that you use to get to where that business is. We're in the brand building phase of our company, not the volume phase. So I love building brands. I love being out there. I love that portion of the engagement. What drives me nuts is like the tire kickers that are out there. The promise makers that are just unfulfilled. But part of it is we don't do business with a lot of different people because we're lucky enough to be able to pick our dance partners. And support is reciprocal. We're not trying to be everything to everyone. So if someone understands the brand, like we'll be at a trade show and we get people that come up that either say, I love Dunbarton, I love your cigars, how do I bring it into my shop? Or they come in and they go, I am so sick and tired of my people asking for your cigars. How do I bring them into the shop? And we talk to people about how that is. Yeah. Then a third person comes and goes, I never heard about you before. Tell me about your cigars. I said, thank you very much. We're not opening new accounts. Why should I carry your cigars? And Steve's response is, you shouldn't. I had a guy that I was so just, backhanded, not quite fully rude to, but I was blunt with him because I recognized the name of his shop. I asked if the guy was still in prison that owned his shop and the whole bit, and I was like, I just don't want to do business with you. I'm just not comfortable. I just don't think it would work out. And he looked over at Steve, and Steve's like, he was more polite to you than I would have been. Like, what it is, it's just not a good fit. I said, I'm not willing to. I don't need your pity order that badly that I'm going to take the opportunity to risk damaging my brand in the marketplace by putting it in the wrong place. And it's like, listen, we all want money. We all want to make sales. We all want to grow. We all want to be bigger. We all want to have more exposure to where things are. But if I place it in the wrong shop and it doesn't work because I never should have had it placed there, they don't have the customer base for it. When it fails, that shop is then going to say this brand sucks. Yeah. And it's not that the brand sucks. The brand sucks in a way that I never should have placed it there. That's where I sucked. That I didn't do my job by vetting it to make sure that it's in the right place. But the brand, it's okay to say we're not a good fit for each other.
I'll say this. With Dunbarton, this is what I've noticed. This mentality that you're talking about, of the proper brand placement and the relationship with the purveyor and even with the customer, this dials down to one of the most important things for cigar shop owners to know, and that is there are two types of cigars that are in a cigar shop, and there are only two. There are cigars that sell and cigars that you have to sell. There's cigars that sell because they're on the shelf and people know about them and they walk in the door and they ask for them. And then the shop owner has to go to Lafferty and be like, we got all these people asking for Dunbarton. And then there are cigars that sit on the shelf that no one knows anything about because the brand is desperately trying to get them on every shelf they can.
You got a push brand versus a pull brand.
Yes.
And you have some stuff that's out there. It's just going to sell. People know about it. It's a trust brand. People know the name. They're going to come in and ask for it. And other things, like we know that to the average everyday consumer, we are still a hand-sold product. They don't know who Dunbarton is. They know nothing about it. And it's a retailer who really believes in the brand who brought it in. And someone comes in and said, what should I try? Like, I want a mild cigar. What should I try? And they're like, have you tried Compromiso Brulee? I think you're really going to like that.
Yes.
And the retailer has enough faith in us. Like, we don't take it for granted. It's not a given that you're going to have that kind of a relationship. But enough of the retailers have faith in us and the product that we have that they know that if they recommend this, they are the cigar Sherpa. You are guiding people through their cigar life of where things are. And if you turn them on to the right product, they're going to be more loyal to you and come back in and trust you and trust your recommendations that you know them.
1,000%. Now, David and I are going to continue talking about this. And quite frankly, this conversation doesn't seem like it could maybe get more blunt than it is. But if you want to see that part of it, it's only on Rumble and the community on Cigars Daily Plus. If you have questions about getting in the cigar industry, you can cautiously ask about them here, and I will answer them to the best of my ability down below. Otherwise, this is Tim and Dave, both signing off for Cigars Daily.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for being here, bro.
Appreciate it.
We'll see you all in the comments.